So let's start. So as planned, we start with just the wrapping up, finishing the first week task, and I start with just quickly explaining the author solution, which is mine, and let me share the screen, and yeah. Okay. So just for those who don't know, the crypto house is just a similar thing to Dune, which is a little bit faster in some cases, but has also some more strict limitations and not so many dashboards and data. But so for this specific task, it doesn't really matter. So because I just use the transactions table. Yeah, so that basically the approach was very straightforward. So we get the fees from the transactions table, which just it's in the metadata. It's available, and it's basically it's two queries in one. And I think that all the solutions I saw they were exactly the same, and like in this sense. So here, we summarize all the fees, just subtracting from each fee the basic fee of 5,000, which is not a priority fee. And then we are aggregating by the hours. And yeah, that's basically it for priority fees, which was very simple thing. And for the JITO tips, it's a little bit harder, but still not that hard. So we are just looking for all the transactions, incoming transactions for the JITO tip accounts, which in this table I can find in the balance change, and in Dune it's very similar. There are if you go to transactions table, you can get the balance change from there. Very similar way. And we only this is how we filter out the outgoing transactions, which we don't need for JITO tips calculation. And a similar way, we are aggregating by hour for the day before current. And yeah, so the one idea was to use these transfers to JITO tip accounts, and the second idea just to summarize the fees from the transactions.
I have a question at this point. When I work on this, on calculating the JITO tips, I noticed that some transactions are outgoing from these accounts. So you compared the value, if you scroll up, you checked that if after than before, I just did the max2 function to also to get the maximum of 0 or the possible negative value. But what are those outgoing transactions from the JITO accounts?
Yeah,
that's how JITO works. Are they automatic, or that's how JITO owners transfer money to their own systems?
So
do you know what they're for?
Yeah, so I don't know in many details, but I know in the principle how they work. So the JITO tips they are for validators. So there is validators that install the special setup which includes JITO, and then they prioritize by the JITO tips, not by priority fees. And in this case, of course, it's only possible if JITO is actually giving these tips to validators, or at least most of that. So I'm not sure if it's all of them or it's most of it, but the JITO tips is redistributed to validators that actually did these transactions. So that's where they mostly should go, to validators. Yeah, but I never actually analyzed this. It might be also interesting how they distribute it. Yeah. And partly the second task is about this specific thing, but not about the JITO, just about the distribution of, I guess, similar things. Yeah. Yeah.
Why JITO has 8
Mhm.
accounts? Why not 6? Why they just not
Mhm.
sufficient with one account?
So I just I don't really know, but I guessing that there are some limitations maybe on how many transactions you can have with the same account as as an address. If you think about this, like I'm not sure if it's a technical or it's just a design limitation, but I heard that for example, for some programs on Solana blockchain, there are limitations of the transactions that are like could be allocated for this specific program in the block. So it might be something similar. So you are like if you have one JITO tip account, there might be some limitations. This is my idea. I also know that right now, I think PumpFun also having multiple accounts for tips. Uh, I'm not sure here, but I think it's a good question to answer. But I think this is just like a matter of there is some limitations. So technically you don't need so you don't need many accounts. You can do it from one. But I think because of the how big it is important.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So if we don't have any questions here, like I think I can go to the just simply announcing the results. So I got two solutions. Let me check. Yeah, this one. Can you
You get 2
see?
submissions, right?
Yeah, two submissions. Yeah, and
Not much.
can you see the screen right now? Also, with
Yeah,
this.
yes, we
Yeah.
can.
Yeah, so there basically, but there were two of them, and one of them were have some good ideas, but also I found a few. So the result was completely like significantly different. I think an order of magnitude for the. Uh, uh, so I don't remember the nickname of the person, but probably he can find himself here. Yeah, so okay, it's loading for some time. So the one thing I found that I think that the fee, the destruction, I think the destruction subtraction of this 5,000 fees is after the summation. I think this is one of the things I found, which leads to a different result. And also for the JITO tips, I think it's all the transactions incoming and outgoing summed, which is also not like in this case we are underestimating the tips. So there are a couple of mistakes at least, but I didn't really wanted to go into this. So mostly just checking if it's correct or not. But definitely the ideas are good, just not finished, like not checked thoroughly. So just saying that I wanted to give some partial reward for this, but not I don't consider this as a full solution. That's the idea. And also that the second solution is also Benjamin, who is in the call. And I said, yeah, I found it, like I checked it, and it's also like it's there is no difference in the results. It's the same. So like it's the only full solution for this week, and I think it's a great result because it's just starting, and we already have somebody who is interested enough to actually do all the way. Yeah. So and I was thinking about the prizes, and so I made a special meme coin, and I thought that like let's start with something like once. So the amount of around 1 sol in this meme coin. So it's around 1 sol worth of this meme coin. And it's also this idea. So you can just, if you want this to be like a real prize, you just simply go and convert these meme coins to sols or USDC, like whatever you want. But if you don't need this money, you can just keep it. And this way, the other participants will get a little bit more. This is basically the all the difference. So I mean, it's up to you. Yeah, and I will contact this both of these people and ask their wallets where you can send these meme coins, the prizes. Yeah, so that's it about the prizes. Let me show you the new task, which I think also interesting. Yeah, so this is the first week, second week. So I just said before that it's somehow connected to the question you asked. So what I wanted to like you to find is that there are a lot of transfers on the Solana, and I want you to summarize this like for the last week for all the like native sol transactions, like so all the when some wallet sending sols to another wallet, and we want to find some wallets which are most probably technical, like they are doing a lot of transactions incoming or outgoing, and probably they are used for some services like JITO or maybe some commissions. Like we don't really know what it is, but what we want to find is what are these wallets and like most used wallets. So we want to find most used wallets, but with some um, um, limitations. So we don't want to calculate to count the transactions which are too small. So we are starting from 0.001 sol, which is somewhere like it's around 10 cents. So it's not much. And so we are aggregating the count of these transactions and also the total volume of these transactions for the last week, and we want to find the top 50. And for this task, I thought it might be interesting to get a little bit deeper and actually look in these accounts. And I saw that, okay, so we got this query which gives us top 50, but then we can just look at some of them and try to find out what it is, like who actually used this account and how it's used, like what is the purpose of this account. So this is like a bonus, I guess, task. So it's not strictly analytical in sense of the data analytics, but it is analytical in sense of just the basic meaning of this word. So just to look with just to try to understand what's how it's working. And I just give this example. So for example, if we have this account from the previous task, it's used to collect transaction fees. Yeah, for JITO tips. That's basically it. It doesn't need to be big. You just need to understand what it is and try to explain it in a simple way. So yeah, there is one table on Dune, which I think is a good fit for this task. But I guess there are many others you can try to use, and it's up to you. The same as in the previous task. But just to think, it might be harder for beginners if they don't have any tips on where to get the data. So I tried maybe it would be easier this way for like a complete beginners. Yeah, so it's the same way as the previous. So for this, because we have different addresses, right? So the result could be a list of different addresses. So if I mean for the previous task, it was just 24 values for the each hour of the previous day, and for this task we get 50 addresses with this few metrics like count of transactions and volume of transactions. Here, we need to be sure that all the addresses are correct and the values are correct. So both of them should be correct for this to be considered like 100% correct. And yeah, so I guess I got a couple of questions myself. So just the same, use UTC, which I think it's universally used for the, so in each data source I found about Solana transactions, everybody use UTC, so it's easier. And we don't want to calculate the amount for failed transactions. So only transactions that actually worked. It's same, the task until the end of Sunday. Same, the prices would be around the same order of magnitude, a new form. Yeah, that's basically it. Maybe we have some questions.
Yes. I'm not sure I understand how, like what approaches you can take to dive into what those accounts used for. Like, do you assume that you can just Google the account address, or maybe some patterns that you can deduct from the transactions on this account?
Yeah, actually, it is a good question, especially for the person who is not used to work with Solana, because there are some already like tools just for a regular person to, I mean, if you don't even know how to analyze anything, but you can just use some services. For example, here, it actually it's well known, so they will know that the JITO tip is the
Right. Yes.
owner.
Sometimes you can have an
Yeah.
owner there.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. You're
sometimes
right.
it's even known for this address. So I think the most of these
Mm-hmm.
addresses are known because they're in top 50. So it's like they should be very well used. Like a lot of people should use them. But I mean, it's not big of accomplishment if you just say I look on the name of this account and the some on SoulScan, for example, or other service. So if you can find something more interesting, like for some account which is not well known but still in the top, I guess there should be some of like this.
Mm-hmm.
It would be better. But I mean, even if you just get used to these tools and try to find and explain what it does, it's the same. Just try not to pick everything like all the JITO payment accounts. I would not I would not consider this as the 10 different accounts. I would just consider it as one, because I mean it's basically the same answer. So just as a bonus points, it's a little bit more up to me to judge if it's worth something or not. But I mean, basically, I think it's an interesting task. So to try to find what it is, looking by transactions, like no,
Mm-hmm.
not exchanging anything. So just transfers in and out. So I guess yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Let's get back to here. Yes. Any more questions? And let me just yeah, so I will add to this question like how we can analyze the dress. I will just show maybe some example, like a link to SoulScan, for example. And again, it could be very helpful for beginners. So yeah, I think that concludes it. So we are go. So we so I tried to explain the solution, and we congratulated the winners. And I hope there would be a little bit more participants next time, so I mean, just feel more fun when you have different people who are also competing for the prize. But I think that overall it's a good start, and I hope that the people will look at this more next weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, great. I'm so
Great,
happy
thank you.
participating in this event. So have a great day, and see you next week on this week's result announcement. Goodbye.
Bye.